Danny Flexent here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by my good friend, Sun boxing reporter Wally Downes Jr. Wally, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you, Dan. Nice to see you, mate. Been a while.
It has. I don't do shows anymore. I feel I'm too big for them now. I'm a diva, everyone knows. We're here at McGuigan's Gym in Leighton, in East London. Just hoping to see some of the stars of today and tomorrow, I guess. But what I want to start with you, or talk to you about, is the Katie Taylor fight at the weekend. That's the big show coming up in Dublin. Taylor Cameron, what do you make of it all? What do you think about the fight itself?
Yeah, really excited about it. Sadly for me, we've got a very good Irish boxing reporter over there, so I'm not making the trip. But I think it's a real test for Katie. I thought the Pursoon fights were close. I think she's showing signs of vulnerability, but that means that she's in brilliant fights. You know, we complain about a lot of the female fights perhaps being a bit one-sided, certainly when the young girls are coming through, because there isn't a huge depth of talent, and there aren't female journey women around that they can get the rounds in. So what Katie's done in her last sort of 5, 6, 7 fights has been incredible, and I think Chantelle Cameron's got a real chance, to be honest, with age and size and on her side. So I'm very excited to sadly watch it from home. I thought it was really bad that Ellie was taken off for that, and I don't think that should be ignored. So yeah, that's a shame. That's a negative for it, especially when she's been on Chantelle one undercard, I think. Yeah, same show. So yeah, totally false reason given for it. Very disappointing. But yeah, I hope for a wonderful show over there.
And you mentioned Ellie there and the kind of fallout from that. Her world title shot will now come on June the 10th on a triple world title build that Matchroom are putting on. What do you make of that? How, if any way, will that affect Ellie's preparation for Chernica Johnson, the delay?
Again, I haven't, she's over there. We can ask her. Hopefully none at all, really. In the zone and Matchroom's defence, they have got it on, very quickly afterwards. There isn't some huge delay. So I don't know whether she would have preferred to have gone to Ireland and been part of this huge female show, or whether it's more suited to her to do it over here on a smaller show where perhaps maybe the eyes will be more on her personally, but it won't be as huge a show. So I don't know. Listen, as long as Ellie goes and wins the world title, then hopefully it gets glossed over and we can all move on, and something like that doesn't happen again.
I want to talk to you about some of the controversy of the weekend just gone. It seemed like a fairly quiet week for boxing looking ahead, but yeah, it's all gone off. We'll start with the kind of maybe the less, neither of them have been celebrated, but the less covered one in the Ismail Barroso ahead on all 3 cards against the favoured Rolly Romero, had dropped him earlier in the fight, was under a tiny amount of pressure, I would say, in the corner, was still throwing back, and referee Tony Weeks decided to stop the fight. Absolute shocker watching the video. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I didn't think the fight needed to be made in the first place. Obviously there was a late replacement and an issue. Barroso looks older than me and you put together, Dan, somehow. So again, I'm just happy he's got out the fight healthy, because he didn't look well. The stoppage does look very, very poor. Lots of people are angry about it. People that used to work for Probellum and MTK, they're all getting their 2 pence worth in. Very important that they tell everyone all the jobs that they're doing wrong. But yeah, listen, it looks like a bad stoppage. They're not going to rerun it because Barroso's 40 odd years of age. This is boxing. It's what we're seeing reasonably regularly. So yeah, nothing will happen from it. I guess Rolly's going to go on and maybe try and do a Ryan Garcia fight, and within a week, to be honest, within a few hours, there was a different scandal, or it depended on which part of the country you're looking at. But yeah, there'll be a bigger scandal next week, and people will have forgotten about it. Sadly, I'm just glad that the old boy got out of there in one piece. To be honest, he looked like he was on course to win. But yeah, just another dark night. We're getting increasingly used to.
And then we had the Misfits show. I've saved the best for last there. KSI wins with an illegal elbow. Not that there's such a thing as a legal elbow in the boxing ring. We see a brawl at ringside with Tommy Fury and Idris Virgo. Apparently they're trying to make Tommy against KSI next. I guess start with the finish of the main event. How much blame can be attached to the referee? Because watching it in real time, I could kind of understand how he might have missed the elbow, although it seems very obvious watching on TV.
Yeah, again, I can't even pretend that I get angry about any of these things anymore. I mean, I saw a bird with a fish at a press conference. I kept seeing them two obese, them poor fellas, and I honestly believed that they were part of that slap thing in America. Oh, yeah. And it was just blurred. I had no idea that was part of that show. So I don't take it seriously. I can't get angry about it. The finish, yeah, the overhand right was a legitimate shot. Fournier, the multi-billionaire, former British basketball superstar. Yeah, he was buzzed, he was hurt, looked like he was going to lose. He hadn't thrown a punch, I don't think, before that. But yeah, there was definitely an elbow. I saw some of the stories afterwards about how there's going to be an inquiry and there's going to be an inquest. And by who? Yeah. It's because it's unlicensed, there's no board. You know, they're making it up as they go along. Because if there was someone running it, then those press conference events wouldn't be allowed to happen, throwing water on it. So that's nonsense. You know, whatever the promotion Misfits want to happen is what will happen. So they'll go and fight someone else. And Joe Fournier, he went a distance with David Haye, didn't he? One of Britain's greatest ever punchers. Yeah. Funny old sport, Dan. Yeah, I don't really care. Good luck to KSI and Jake Paul and Tommy. Yeah, and the brawl at the side. You know, hell of a brawl for not a single punch thrown. I don't think so. Yeah, good luck to everyone. I hope they all get well paid for it.
It's my kind of brawl. No punches thrown or taken. Have you got any interest at all in KSI against Tommy Fury?
No, to be honest, no, not at all. Which is, you know, hypocritical because my desk, you know, I'm sure they'll do great numbers on it, and I think we had two lads at the show. You know, I get sent on my own to world title shows, whereas
same on my own with the channel. To be honest, we do great views on it, but I have zero interest.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Tommy Fury win. By the looks of it, he looks like a better boxer than KSI. Again, be surprised if it happens. Tommy looks like a real test. You know, Joe Fournier wasn't. It would be a huge jump up for KSI. But yeah, not really too bothered about it. Good luck to them all. I just think the good thing now is that these influencer boxers have stopped talking about beating AJ, beating Canelo, being undisputed world champions. You know, they found their market, and it's a successful one. The Zone are loving it. So yeah, you know, let them all keep fighting each other and enjoying it, getting on with it.
Back to traditional boxing, but politics still rears its ugly head. We're here, you know, in the McGuigan's gym, and we saw Ben Shalom. We expect him to arrive at some point today. He, boxer, pulled out their fighter Frazer Clarke from the purse bids for a British title shot against Fabio Wardley. This came after Frazer's management team at 258 had campaigned for him to be installed as the mandatory in the first place. What do you make of all that? It just looks like a mess. Yeah. Pretty embarrassing for all angles. Feel for Frazer. At his age, with what he's achieved as an amateur, going to the Olympics, he doesn't need to hang around. You know, they try to make a comparison with what Joe Joyce did. You know, Joe's debut was incredible. Commonwealth champion within 4 fights. But again, you know, from what we understand, they because they were new boxer, they had to do what the Zone did. They've overpaid a lot of people to join them, like Frazer, like Ben Whittaker. So they can't afford to spend a lot of money on their opponents, to be quite frank. You know, Frazer has come out and publicly complained about his opponents in the past. I think he did that the last Bournemouth show we did. He'd come out on stage and in front of everyone. So there's a problem there. And don't forget, I feel for Sky and Boxer in a little bit at the minute, because losing Adam Smith, who'd been running Sky Boxing for 30 years, hope he's getting better. That will shake anything up. You know, Ben Shalom's a very new fellow coming into the sport. He had a mentor there who's moved on overnight. So there will be mistakes made. But yeah, 258 and Boxer, when they've got Frazer and Ben Whittaker and stuff, you know, there needs to be a better working relationship than that, because it does look silly. Because, you know, they have petitioned and asked for Frazer to get the shot. They've made the shot. They've called for the fight, and then they pulled him out of it. So yeah, it doesn't look great. And again, Frazer can't. The idea that we'll do it in September, from what I understand, and again, you know, there's always a way out of it, but I don't think he can even apply to be mandatory for that for a year. Now they pulled out. Yeah, that's right.
Now they've pulled him out. So someone like Ollie Dakers or David Adelaide, they will go ahead of him now. So Frazer might have to do something different. So yeah, just a shame. would have been a great fight. Never really made a lot of sense. It's like, basically then, I'm sure you'll agree, the minute people talk about a great fight happening, you say that won't happen. You know, 2 weeks ago, the 4 best heavyweights in the world were all going to fight in one night. Everyone knew what the purse was, it was all done. Of course it isn't, it's nonsense. So yeah, never thought it would happen, and it isn't.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was going to be kind of my next question. We're here in the gym of Daniel Dubois, of course. He's the mandatory to fight Alexander Usyk for his heavyweight titles. But there has been this shadow cast over those events by what's supposed to take place in the Middle East in December, the 4-man tournament, so-called. Is that going to happen? And if so, do they all not fight until December in the meantime?
Again, I can't see how it happens, Dan. I understand why AJ is, AJ and Eddie are no problem, we're all signed up. They haven't got any belts. They've lost 2 on the spin. They're not mandatory for a world title. Wilder, the same, can't sell a ticket in America. You know, Tyson made him a superstar. So it's no surprise that those 2 guys signed up. And I know Usyk signed up for Fury originally when it was 50-50 and Fury nosed that up. So I can't see it happening. I'm sure AJ and Wilder are all on board. But again, whether you think it's total nonsense or genius, Fury has made it abundantly clear he doesn't care about being undisputed. He doesn't care about belts. Whereas I think AJ spoke about it a little while ago at a media event. From the minute he turned pro or even won his first world title, it was road to undisputed. Usyk did it as a cruiserweight. Then he said, all I want to be is heavyweight. Once you tell someone how much you value something and it's all you want, you're giving away the game. You know, Tyson Fury could drop that WBC belt tomorrow and say, I don't care. He's still the biggest draw. He's still the only one who sells out a football stadium at the minute. So, you know, he's played a blinder by saying he doesn't care about the belts, he doesn't care about legacy, because AJ and Usyk, to their eternal credit, have said all along that that's what they want, is they want to be undisputed. So Fury now, rightly or wrongly, he holds all the aces. So I would be amazed if he did something, not where they're all on, level-footed or billing, but, if you're Tyson Fury, why would you? It'd be like asking Man City to enter a tournament, a summer pre-season tournament with Sheffield United and Southampton and Crewe. At the minute, they're at different levels, so I can't see it happening. I'd be amazed.
We've gone through a lot of the kind of negative stuff coming up in boxing, or things that might not happen. Tell us something that you're very much looking forward to for the rest of this year.
Jesus Christ, Dan. Boxing related. Something that I'm looking forward to. Do you know what this is like? Chris taking this show to Bournemouth, at Bournemouth Football Club. 15,000 fans. Like, that is terrific. And I'm glad they've stayed up. I love Gary O'Neill. He did great at QPR. And when I was looking at sort of Chris's record, I remember, like I'm sure you will, going down to the old Wandsworth gym, where someone like, David Hay, George Groves, Luke Campbell, Carl Frampton, Chris was always on a bike in the corner, never looking to be interviewed, never looking for any aggro. And I think within the space of a couple of months, Shane signed Lawrence, a rival cruiserweight, an Olympian, 258, and then Chris lost to Riakporhe in a close fight. Some people had him winning. That was in the space of a couple of months, and not once did he want to leave this gym, not once have I ever seen him moan. He's a real good success story, Chris. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going to a new stadium. And when I've done the 2 shows before in Bournemouth, fantastic town. They've absolutely loved it, having it down there. And hopefully it sparks more, because it's expensive when Warrington's done Leeds, when Bellew's done Goodison. You don't usually make any money. Like it's the event, so hopefully it's a huge success. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, maybe we'll see a few more.
Brilliant. Wally, really appreciate your time, mate.